Hey guys, Level Cap here, and it's a big day for Battlefield 2042. Leaks are pouring out from the technical playtest that kicked off this morning, and the Exodus short film recapping the game's storyline has premiered. Now, the source for a lot of this playtest information is from leaker Tom Henderson and the Gaming and Leaks Rumors subreddit. There's plenty of leaked gameplay popping up as well, which we of course will not be showing in this video, but it has been corroborating the information. The one thing to keep in mind is that everything we're about to talk about comes from an early build of the game that is subject to change. That being said, Tom did claim on Twitter that this build is from July 29th, so maybe it's not actually that old. It's hard to say though. Alright, let's get into the leaks. The playtest uses easy anti-cheat, and that's pretty good news for players who are frustrated by the explosion of hackers in Battlefield 5. It doesn't mean that the game will be hacker-free or anything, but it does mean that DICE and EA are using a modern solution that's got a solid track record. It's tough to say if this will deter hacking in Battlefield 2042 enough though. The main menu of 2042 is set on the Exodus, which is the ship featured in the short film. Character customization is disabled for the playtest, but you'll be able to tweak the appearance of your specialist here like you could in Battlefield 5. According to Tom, players have managed to bug the main menu and explore the Exodus more, revealing it to be a base with a shooting range. Now, the main map available for the playtest is the one with the rocket launch sequence called Orbital. DICE previously said that the playtest would be a gray box, meaning that no textures and lots of unfinished assets, but based on the leaked videos, it looks like the map is way more fleshed out than that. Unfortunately, it also sounds like the playtest isn't particularly well optimized. That is to be expected though. It's a technical playtest, not even yet at beta quality. But it's still a little disappointing to hear that the performance makes evaluating the game and giving feedback a bit of a nightmare. The ping system from Battlefield 5 is apparently returning in 2042. You can ping a general location for your squad mates or ping an approximate enemy position. We do know that some specialists will have gadgets and abilities that spot enemies more directly. Now, the plus system that lets you customize your weapons on the fly is available in the playtest. According to Tom, there are at least 4 types of ammunition for some guns. These include light, medium, heavy, and armor-piercing rounds. And aside from the names, it's unclear what the technical benefits or downsides are for each ammo type. Melee executions are now in the third person. This is a big change for Battlefield, but follows a similar trend that we've seen in other titles like Apex, Halo, and Warzone. Killing the AI in-game doesn't count towards your overall kills. This was a big concern for many players, as farming AI bots could be used to pad stats or exploit the game. And again, judging from the videos and what's being said on social media, the destruction seems to be more on par with Battlefield 3. 2042 will feature a much larger scale destruction, and some DICE devs have said that the dynamic weather events in general combat transform the landscape over the course of the match. Now, I'm going to go over a bunch more information that comes from leaked footage, and I am not going to show any of the footage here. It is pretty easy to find if you want to watch it for yourself. Again, just remember it's a very early version of the build, and DICE doesn't want this being shown out to the public because it doesn't represent their best work. It's early gameplay, very rough, very unfinished. But based on this leaked footage, it looks like entry and exit animations for vehicles are gone. And as cool as it was to watch a player enter or exit the hatch of a tank in Battlefield 5, the complex animations posed a lot of problems for the game. The playtest appears to be using a system similar to Battlefield 4. We've also seen footage of a suppressed shotgun with a weird crosshair that might indicate the return of a duckbill and other spread modifying attachments. The vehicle call-in system is also available in the playtest. The player in the leaked footage requests the M5C Bolt or Bolte, which is the tank that looks like the real-life Ripsaw. Other call-ins include the Ranger Robot Dog, LATV4, EBAA Wildcast, M1A5, and MAV. Now, the sheer number of issues being reported by players is a bit concerning though. Again, these reports are supposed to be on NDA-safe forums. And again, while complaining about performance issues or bugs in a, beta, something that's about to release seems more applicable, this playtest could be, again, very old. So I would take any sort of performance or bugs as a grain of salt that could have already been fixed in the most recent version of the game. Overall, it seems a little hard to judge the public's reaction to to the leak so far. From the footage, the gameplay does look pretty cool. The use of the grappling hook on the assault class in particular looks very smooth and seems like it's going to open up a lot of cool combat opportunities. All right, now let's move on to the short film called Exodus, which actually isn't that short. You can sit down for quite a while and enjoy the movie. It's set before the events of 2042. It features the cast of Battlefield 4 with Irish as the commander of the NOPAT vessel Exodus and Clayton Pekowski as a refugee working against the NOPAT's leader Oz. The film opens with Irish retrieving a briefcase of intel. That intel is the location of a secret US satellite that's crashing in Doha, Qatar. As the Exodus ship sets course for Doha, a group of Osprey jets approaches. Irish realizes the intel he collected could be used to instigate a global conflict between the US and Russia. He orders the ship into a Category 5 storm to help defend it and the refugees on board. Of course, things don't turn out so well. Irish is forced to give over the intel to save his son. Pekowski dies helping Irish, and the intel is transmitted successfully to the NOPAT leader. As for how any of this info will impact gameplay, Irish will be available as a specialist. He has two gadgets. One is a fortification system that works as deployable cover. We saw this in the previous gameplay reveal trailer. It protects against enemy gunfire. The other gadget is the APS-36. It destroys explosive projectiles similar to a trophy system. His passive is called Veteran, and it gives him armor that can be boosted by interacting with downed enemies. This is pretty interesting because modifying a player's base health has been a topic of some controversy in previous Battlefield games, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in Battlefield 2042. So, putting together my concluding thoughts on leaked gameplay and info from an early playtest of Battlefield 2042, it looks like a Battlefield game. The visuals look pretty good, the map looks quite large. The gunplay and stuff looks solid. It looks like there's some fun new gadgets that are going to mix things up and add some interesting variety to the gameplay. The things that have me the most concerned on social media is Tom saying that the build is actually a much more recent build, like just compiled at the end of last month, and then other people saying how bad the performance is. Some people were saying that the performance seemed to be either capped at 30 FPS or couldn't go beyond 30 frames per second. Other people were reporting even lower frame rate than that. It's hard to say. So again, my only concern with that is that if the build is as recent as Tom is suggesting and there's that many performance issues still in the game, it might be hard for DICE to iron all of that out before launch. But again, that build date is pretty hard to verify. It could even be a build that was compiled at the end of last month, but from an earlier version of the game where they just had to tweak a few things just to get it ready for everyone. That's usually pretty common with playtests. So again, hopefully this is not a representation of a recent build of Battlefield and something much older, because DICE has been claiming that they were ahead of schedule with Battlefield 2042. So hopefully that holds true and the final product of their game is going to be very polished. I will say all of this leaked info really just makes me hungry for more. I want to see what other kinds of cool things are in the game, and as more stuff is linked, we will be covering it in Today in Gaming, so stay tuned to the channel. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.